Oh, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the final round at Spa-Francorchamps in the Ardent Force of Belgium. This is the Rook-Wing Racing League, sponsored by ANSE3D Racing. It's not right, ANSE3D Racing, but that's one of the teams. ANSE3D. ANSE3D. We are just at the end of practice with 30 seconds to go, and we're going to be sporting some pretty packed grid here. We got 26 drivers all ready to shoot out for the final race. We have Patrick Gannon and Matt Shack and Joshua. Don't know if that driver's here. Not Joshua Grosso, but Joey Jr. Joey Jr. is not on the grid. He's P3 in the Pro Championship, and if he was able to stick it out for P1 in this race, he might be able to take home the championship. But as it stands, Patrick Gannon is the only force against the movable object that is Matt Shack for P1. He is P1 in the championship, Matt Shack is, and Patrick Gannon is just trailing behind by roughly 100 and something points, maybe 200. Don't do math that well, but if he does win, he gets 350 points. But I believe Matt Shack just has to put in a P6 or higher finish, maybe P7, in order to continue to keep hold of his championship. We're about to be going into qualifying just now, and let's see who's already out there. And it looks like Justin F. Scott is the first driver out there, car number 939. So we will be on board with him as he starts his qualifying run. Everyone right now is on an out lap. He is in the Porsche 911. And it looks like we have just a sea of Porsche 911s. I mean, that's a lot of drivers all sporting that Porsche. I would say about half the grid. And then got your 4 BMWs, 1 Ferrari, 1 Lamborghini, no, 5 BMWs, and I think 1 Mercedes. I'm looking at this correctly. Not a whole lot of diversity on the field or on the grid right now, but I mean it's the new flex. See what people could do in the Porsche now that's been added. Justin F. Scott entering the bus stop Apex there, as he's about to start his first flying lap. We'll go on board with this driver to see what it takes to put it on pole. Now, a good little bit of information is that Patrick Gannon in practice was able to put in the fastest time at a 2:16, with Matt Shack trailing behind by 2/10. So what we need to see out of these drivers is really the consistency of getting into the 2:16s. 2:17s will do well to get you maybe in the top 10, possibly P9, P10, but not enough to get you higher than that. There was at least 6 or 7 drivers that were all putting in 2:16s. I don't think Justin has to worry too much right now in terms of clear air. He's got 8.6 seconds gap to Miller Darajo there, car number 120. Won't really know what the pace looks like out of this driver until after he set a very solid valid quali lap, a banker lap as you will. Definitely want to get one of those out of the way so you at least don't have to feel the tension as the timer comes down. With 6 minutes left to go, knowing roughly it takes 2 minutes, 18 seconds to get around the track. It was 16 to 18 seconds. Be interesting to see where Justin F. Scott puts it. I believe he was P13 or 14 in the practice session. Not a lot of jerky movements out of this driver, so that's very good to see. He's keeping it calm and collected, going into the bus stop again. And at the off the line so far right now, we have drivers just pop over Tyler Anderson. He has not made a lap just yet. He's going up the hill there. Noah Hodgkinson goes to P3. Joshua Grosso is sitting comfortably at P1 with a 2:16.7. Matt Shack just behind, narrowly off at P2. Patrick Gannon is P4. Timothy Bray is P5. Andrew Kirk is P6. Colin Luckhurst is P7. Will Kofi is P8. Trey Mistak is P9. Craig Carroll is P10. Justin F. Scott is P11. Chris Lambeth is P12 right now. Eric Rodriguez is P14. Matthew Wyckoff is P15. Steve McAllister is 16th. Someone just upset the board here. That was Paolo Langer. Goes to P5. Pushing out Timothy Bray for that spot. Richard Savreda. Someone's putting me on the man. That's a hard name. Richard Saavedra. Card number 199. It's a really interesting livery. You hardly get a good glimpse of it. But that is, it's an anime livery. Look pretty tasteful though. Back at it, we have Tyler Anderson, who is off to the side. I thought he was pushing for a lap there. Kyle Granger, one of the few drivers on the grid that has not set a time yet. Few, I should say a lot. Chris Chitterling just crosses the line there, and he goes to P12. We have Gary Schilling not set a time. Kyle Granger. Trey Mistak goes a little faster. P7 for him. It's really coming down to some of these drivers. Patrick Gannon in P3. Joshua Grosso has not. Is back. Pace is not strong. Moment must be off the side. Craig Carroll goes to P9, overtaking Colin Luckhurst and Will Kofi. All right. Looking at some of the data here, folks. Timothy Bray is in the pit lane. Andrew Kirk is in the pit lane. And Chris Chitterling also in the pit lane. Joshua Grosso is back out on track. Matt Check is, I believe... Oh, he's pushing. And Patrick Gannon is just behind. Now, oddly... Oh, Matt Check is on that out lap, so it doesn't have any data there for him to go off of. So he's trying to get something worked out here. With 1 minute and 30 seconds to go, he's definitely going to be pushing to the very brink to get that valid fast lap and take the top spot. He is P1 in the championship right now. Noah Hoskinson is 1.4 seconds faster. I'm not sure if he... What? That was like a really big leap. Such a small amount of time. But Patrick Gannon is not gaining anything significant off this lap. He did a 2:16.899 of last. And he's trying to find just a couple of tenths. He's 0.125 down from Joshua Grosso, but he just found it in the bus stop. He's 2/10 up on his time. Is he going to cross the line and take P1 right now? I believe so. But was that a valid lap? This doesn't show it's changing. I don't think it happened. Oh, no. He's got 30 seconds. He's going to go for another run, but that is not changing. Noah Hoskinson is 2 seconds faster on this lap. Is this a valid lap? It doesn't quite tell me. But if he crosses the line and he pops up a couple spots, then we know it's true. And he's still P4, though. A great result from that driver. Now, Colin Luckhurst is P10 at the moment. And he is 4/10 faster. Car number 162. If he maintains this, he's going to get a great result. As we have Charles Whedon goes to P19. So we have 6 drivers that have not set a time on the board at this moment in time. He is still 3/10 faster. He did a 1:17.6. This 3/10 is really crucial because it could go from P10, P6, P7, I think. He's 4/10 faster. He just made another 10th there in the final corner. As he crosses the line, he goes to P7. And not to be outdone, Trey Mistack. Oh, and Kyle Granger goes to P14, jumps up a couple spots. Trey Mistack is on a flyer of a lap. He is 9/10 faster right now, a full second up on his last time. His last time was 2:17.3. He just got beaten out by Colin Luckhurst for P7. But it looks like Trey Mistack is looking to take more than P7. He is significantly faster. He just did a 1.7, 1.8. He found some time out of that final corner as he crosses the line. Is this a valid lap for Trey Mistack? It was faster. I'm not sure. I think he was still valid. Just quite not sure what to make of that one, folks. As Eric Rodriguez is one of the final drivers to cross, and he goes to P15, overtaking a couple drivers. Justin F. Scott, spoke too soon. Justin F. Scott goes quicker and goes to P12. Only losing one position in that, he crosses the line first, goes to P7, but as drivers are going, he went to P11 and then only dropped down a couple more places, but then just got right back up there. He only lost one significant spot at the end of this results. Here it is for you folks. Matt Schack takes the top spot. Joshua Grosso just behind in P2. Patrick Gannon in P3. Noah Hoskinson in P4. Paolo Langer in P5. Timothy Bray in 6, Colin Luckhurst in 7, Trey Mistack in 8, Andrew Kirk in 9, Craig Carroll in 10, Will Kofi in Coffee in 11, Justin F. Scott in 12. As we are still waiting about 9 seconds to get to the race. Still haven't switched over yet. Chris Chitterling is P13, Kyle Granger in 14, Eric Rodriguez in 15, Eddie Layton in 16, Chris Lambeth in 17, Matthew Wyckoff in 18, Richard Saavedra in 19, and Charles Whedon in 20, Stephen McAllister in 21. Drivers that did not set a time: Miller DeRajo in 22, Tyler Anderson in 23, Austin McGill in 24. Gary Schilling in 24, Austin McGill in 25, Levi DeKiro in 26. And there you have it, folks. All 26 drivers waiting for the grid. And we are about to get going. 50 seconds left before the race starts. I hope you guys have enjoyed this season, Season 3. And I'm not sure if things are going to be up in the shake-up for multi-class racing, but thank you for joining us on this final round here at Spa. And that is really cool to see. Noah Hodgkinson and Joshua Grasso, teammates, separated by 1 row. Patrick Gannon on the inside line next to Matt Shack as they take off. That's a good run for Matt Shack already. And Patrick Gannon not making any mistakes here as he gets really close to that apex where you want to be. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of a battle for Noah Hodgkinson and Paolo Langer as they're about to go up Eau Rouge. And so far, everyone's spitting out cleanly. And we are 2 by 2. Patrick Gannon trying to take the lead of the race already, and he goes for it. The top already, and there it was. The move is done, but is he going to be able to stick it? Matt Shack is sitting in P2. Nope, sorry. P1. He was able to defend against that. That Joshua Grasso and Patrick Gannon not swap places. Must be confused. Everything still looks pretty clean from the top 4. A long Sunday. It's still clean. This, we have Colin Lucker sitting behind Paolo Langer. Timothy Bray up 1 position off of Paolo Langer. He goes to P5. And Andrew Kirk in P10 from P9. Oh, looks like Timothy Bray was a little wide. And no retirements just yet. So I believe we are completely clean, or mostly clean. Eddie Layton overtakes Kyle Granger and Matt Shack. Whoa, what happened to Matt Shack? He has just lost several positions there. But he's going to be able to gain one of them off of Noah Hodgkinson. Oh, it's Joshua Grasso goes wide. What is happening? And that's Matt Shack back into P2. And Joshua Grasso is losing multiple positions. I don't know what to make of that. Really don't like it. I'm just going to pull that back, folks. We need to get some explanations before we continue. Looks like Matt Shack spins the rear and loses it. Okay, that makes sense. Now, while Matt Shack is in the lead of the championship over Patrick Gannon, they're separated by like 180 points, might be a little bit more. To get P1 is 350 points. So Patrick Gannon would overtake Matt Shack in the championship. I don't think he'll be able to hold it if Matt Shack finishes P2, P3 even P4 or 5. There's still a lot of good points, 200 points for P2. So I'm not quite sure how that would work out. Oh, we have a driver off, and that is Andrew Kirk. Oh, no. That's unfortunate. Oh, and Miller Durajo's in. Oh, no. Oh. He's already got damage. His car's already done in. That's. Looks to be damage free. Oh! That is a several car. It's Joshua Grosso passes Craig Carroll. P8. Not some mistakes here, folks. So I'm calling some of these out here, but there is a sea of Porsches in the background. And be the change you want to see as we see Trey Mistak in that Lamborghini Huracan. What a gorgeous car that is, sitting out there amongst the Porsche population. P8 onwards down to P14, Eddie Layton in the Mercedes. Oh! And Craig Carroll rubs a little paint off. That's gonna be a couple positions lost there. Eddie Layton was P14, but overtakes a couple drivers. Car number 73, just ahead of Justin F. Scott there. Patrick Gannon still fastest overall. And that's that last lap. It's a purple best. Green means they did better than their previous. And gray is not as good as the previous. But a lot of flyers out there right now. A lot of people are really getting their best times in. Joshua Grosso dropped down to P8, but that will not let him be deterred as he's already reeling in Trey Mistak. And Team Shakes Dak, I believe, is leading the team championship with Matt Shack in P2 and Trey Mistak in P7. But I think right behind them is team of Noah Hopkinson and Joshua Grosso. Unistar Racing? Maybe. I have to go confirm my statistics there on that one, but my data. Oh, a bit of a... At the top of Rouge, I don't think Joshua Grosso got himself in... that is definitely a track limits violation if I've ever seen one, but he overtakes Trey Mistak into that corner. And he's now ahead. So. And there's Richard Saavedra overtakes Steve McAllister, P18, car number 199. Kyle Brayton just ahead of him. These drivers are all pretty matched on pace. We're going to see some action out of those drivers. Tyler Anderson was at the back of the grid at the start of this race, not having set a time for quali in P23. It's now down to P15. I believe he's also leading the championship for the AM class. And he's only got Noah Hodgkinson, Eddie Rodriguez, and just F. Scott ahead of him. Still making good points. Oh, is that his teammate right behind him, Matthew Wyckoff? Yeah. Howell Motorsports. And Noah Hodgkinson is now sitting in P3. Is that his lap traffic of Chris Lambeth out there on an outlap? Definitely getting out of the way. That's Matt Shack and Noah Hodgkinson battling out for P2, separated by nothing at all. Maybe a bumper. And just comfortably ahead by 2.5 seconds is Patrick Gannon in the BMW M4. And they are just matched right now as Noah Hodgkinson takes P2 from Matt Shack. Trouble brews for Matt Shack because he really needs to keep within the top 5 in order to win the championship. It may be more than that. He could be in the top 10 for all I know. I'm not really good with the points myself. I think it's like 200 down to 150 to 100. So wherever that lead needs to extend, he needs at least 100 points to sure up that victory over Patrick Gannon, which they are separated by roughly 150 to 200 points. So any loss that Matt Shack feels on the grid right now is hurting his chances to keep that championship at P1. And Joshua Grasso overtakes Paul Luckhurst. I think he already took Trey Mistack a little bit ago. That's one more for this driver, who is pushing back up to the front as he was sitting P3, P4 at the start of the race. That behind Chris Chitterling, only separated by 8/10, but it looks like he's reeling him in. His last lap was a 2:17.9. Trey Mistack's was a 2:18.1. Sorry, a 2:18.7. It looks like we're gonna have this little train form with Chris Lambeth sitting in the middle of it. He's gonna try to give some room, go on the outside for all these drivers passing by. Joshua Grasso, Colin Luckhurst, Trey Mistack. I think you're really going to be in a bad spot if you don't pass him before Eau Rouge, and it looks like he slots back in. Trey Mistack goes through, and Chris Chitterling is going to be the one driver that loses out a little bit on that, as he doesn't get a go with them. You can see that extended lead. It's 1.3 seconds off of the 0.8. Not good for his chances at reeling in Trey Mistack. And that is what happens with lap traffic in the mix like that. It's an unfortunate set of circumstances for the drivers ahead, but there's nothing that Chris Lambert, no fault to him at all. He moved over as necessary and moved back in when he knew he could take the run. Matt Shack in P3 with Timothy Bray just behind him. Oh, what happened here? Yikes. Chris Chitterling in P9 was holding it, oh, very well, but looks like it's going to be the rear. No, it's just like a snap, and yeah, he's out. That might be car ending. He's down to P11. Tyler Anderson is right behind, and that car is severely heated up. It's a massive hit. So it looks like he still has some control over the car. There goes Tyler Anderson overtaking him for P11. Is he going to box? He is not going to box. So props to Chris Chitterling. He's sticking it out there. Didn't look like he was significantly slower than Tyler Anderson before the bus stop, but maybe, I mean, overall down, just aero is going to be lost there, so we won't really know until we get to Radion whether or not he's able to hold in there or lose a significant amount of time. Be interesting to see, but it looks like Tyler Anderson's already 3/10 off. And is Justin F. Scott behind going to be able to reel in Chris Chitterling? And that's what really matters. Are you able to hold in? You can see these drivers are actually pulling in. But does Justin go for it? He does not make the move. Overall, is the car okay for Chris Chitterling? It doesn't look like he's losing what would definitely be a race-ending moment. It's not having the pace because of the aero to continue racing, but these drivers aren't catching quite as you'd expect them to be able to catch with the damage that he has. So the damage might not be even affecting. Oh, it's affecting it enough. Whoa, we got a parked car of Chris Lambeth right there. It is significant, I think. As we jump back on to Chris Chitterling, Tyler Anderson is now 1.1 seconds away. So he might get swallowed up here by Justin F. Scott and Matthew Wyckoff. And when it rains, it pours, folks. As Chris Chitterling tumbles down the order, and that is Richard Saavedra. Saavedra. Did my best. Matt Shack still holding P3. And Noah Hodgkinson in P2 with Patrick Gannon in P1. Patrick Gannon has a good 2.1 second gap to Noah Hodgkinson, and then there's a half a second gap from Matt Shack here. And is Matt going to try to reel in Noah and make a move, or is he going to sit there comfortably in the draft, try to save some fuel, maybe try to go for an undercut over the drivers ahead of him? Definitely possible. He's within that window, that 2-second window of fuel. The amount of fuel one's going to take, and that difference being whether or not you make it to the end of the race. So sitting in the draft is really good for this sort of thing right here, if that is his strategy. As Paolo Langer is just behind Timothy Bray in the background there, that red car, Paolo Langer. There's Paolo Langer in the Pro class, car number 460, the ANSE3D livery. And Timothy Bray. I don't think I've seen Timothy Bray that much, or Team Upstate in general, through this season. But there's Timothy Bray. Bit of a class leader himself. Very fast-paced driver. Ooh, loses a little bit. A little wibbly-wobbly right there. Maybe took a little too much of the curbing. Unsettled the car, definitely. And that kind of opened the door for Paolo Langer to get real close to him. And right rear lockup from Paolo Langer is, or from Timothy Bray, as Paolo Langer goes through and takes P4. And track limits, those are just a suggestion, folks, as we have two drivers that clearly went over. And Steve McAllister passes Richard Saavedra, who went into the pit lane. Oh my gosh. That wasn't Richard, that was Chris Chitterling. He is, I'm not sure who's calling it. Then we have Charles Whedon with a kind of a smacked up car there. Front end definitely not looking too good on the left front. Yep. It's gonna pull back slightly here. Oh no. It's a full rear just gone. Going to be Bray from P4 down. Overtakes. He overtook, but Eric Rodriguez is just behind there. So he's got a lot of positions to make up for that from 4th to 8th. Up goes Trey Mistak and Colin Luckhurst for that mistake. Joshua Grasso goes through. Paolo Langer and Joshua Grasso are going to be in a battle very shortly. The difference here on last laps, Paolo Langer did a 2:18.5 and Joshua Grasso did a 2:18. A full 5/10 faster. Half a second, as it is, than Paolo Langer on last lap. And as they cross the line, Paolo Langer just did a 17.9, but Joshua Grasso did a 17.7. So 2/10 faster this time around. And we have Will Coffey goes into the pit lane already. We're about halfway through this race. He's making the pulling the trigger to swap already. Tyler Anderson goes through, goes to P10 with that. And here we have it, folks. Back at it. Matt Schack is closer than he's ever been since the start of this race, next to Noah Hodgkinson. They are separated by 0.3. Noah's last lap was a 2:17.7. It's actually faster than Matt Schack by 0.05 hundredths of a second. Not significant, but not insignificant either, because it keeps him ahead. Even in the draft, he was able to pull off a faster lap like that. Noah's showing impressive skill and talent right now as he is challenging Matt Schack. Provisionally going to win this championship, is on the top spot and is down in the 3rd place, which could be good for Patrick Gannon in terms of points, as Matt may not get the 200 points necessary for P2 and has to end up settling for P3. That 350 points looks a little bit closer to Patrick Gannon winning the championship. And already we see something out of Timothy Bray that is very interesting. Off his last lap, while he spun, he's already on, his average pace is faster. While he did have that spin, based on his previous laps, he's actually reeling in his best time. This might be his actual best time this lap. Matt Shack goes in the pit lane. He's going to do the overcut, or the undercut. He's opting for that already. And Timothy Bray goes to P7. So Matt Shack is the first driver in the top 10 to make that move. And Will Coffey is the only driver, P17, that is actually swapped over, besides Chris Chierling. Now Matt Shack. But Timothy Bray, his best lap was a 2:17.4. And it looks like he was just down off of that. So I was showing his average pace, talking about his average pace, and that looks pretty significant because he was going quicker. And he was only 0.4 off his fastest lap. Or I could definitely foresee him taking the fight to Trey Mistack shortly, as he just has gone a full second faster than Trey Mistack on that last lap. Kyle Granger's out on an out lap. He is swapped for fuel. Mandatory pit stop has been served, and he is into P15. It's a good move for him. He's going to get some positions off of this for sure. So we'll definitely have to take a look at where the undercut works and doesn't work. Matt Shack is down into P12. All the drivers ahead of him have to pit, though. As it stands, he's got Justin F. Scott 1.2 seconds ahead, Eddie Layton behind 1.6. It's not definitely clean air, but it's not so bad in terms of not a lot of traffic ahead of him that he has to worry about passing. And there is Paolo Langer and Joshua Grasso fighting in P3 and P4. And Trey Mistack goes in the pit lane. Another driver that's going to be losing out some positions right now, but we'll definitely gain some of them back after everyone goes to the pit. And there's Trey Mistack in P13. Matt Shack already up to Eau Rouge. He's going to overtake Trey Mistack. Arguably, that's exactly what's going to happen. He was ahead of him. What you want to see is, where's this shake up for Matt Shack? Looks like he's still P11. Only up one position. No other driver ahead of him has stopped. Justin F. Scott has not stopped. So he's definitely going to just make this place back. But it's really about how far back is he. It takes about 28 to 30 seconds to enter and exit the pits while fueling up and going back out there. He is 30.4 seconds back from the leader of Patrick Gannon when he goes in. So he's going to overtake most of these drivers, or all these drivers for sure, and get back into P3, P2. But it's really about those two drivers in P1 and 2. How much of a gap do they form to Matt Shack? 30 seconds down, and it looks like he's losing out a little bit. But there he goes and overtakes Justin F. Scott for P11, or P10. And there's a 3.2 seconds, and this is where it's going to get exciting, folks. Patrick Gannon is in the pit lane and is serving it finally. Noah Hoskinson goes in. Paolo Langer goes in. Timothy Bray is out there right now. Is he going to stay? He comes right back in. Eric Rodriguez goes in. Tyler Anderson's going in. Hey, what is Matthew Wyckoff going to do? Is this the moment we get to see Matt Shack get to overtake the full grid? There he is. From P10 All he has to do is make it past all of these drivers. Is Patrick Gannon out? He is. Is Noah Hodgkinson out? He is. Oh, and he's behind. And Matt Shack has taken the undercut worked, folks. Noah Hodgkinson is down 3 seconds to Matt Shack. The shakeup was in his favor. And Noah's going to have to find some speed. Paolo Langer. Also on an outlap. A lot of these drivers are going to worry about their tires. And Colin Luckhurst goes down to P15 from P12. Oh. Not. Oh, it's just. I'm not entirely sure what happened. He was in the top 10. Now he's down in P16. That is unusual. As we have Will Coffey, another driver who, actually one of the first drivers to opt to pit early. The undercut worked for him. He's on 3-lap-old tires, but he's in P9. And with everybody around him on an outlap, he's definitely feeling pretty good about that move. That 13 is going to change to a 9, and those are positions made off of strategy. Trey Mistack is in P6. Not much difference for this driver, I don't believe. That's Timothy Bray ahead of him, but I hazard to guess they were already next to each other before the change. And here's Kyle Granger. He is 3/10 off of Richard Saavedra. And can he make a move for P16? Just got to look for that one good run. Just ahead of him is Eddie Layton and Justin F. Scott. Justin F. Scott to the inside line. Actually comes right back in. Doesn't actually attempt it. But they are battling for P11. What's that? 16. Richard Saavedra crossed the line. Everything changed, folks. Richard Saavedra and Kyle Granger are now 13 and 14. How many of these drivers have track limit violations? Maybe a little counter for that. So I'm not sure all of these laps are going to be counted as legitimate. But we'll take a look here. I don't know if you can tell off of that. I feel like Kyle Granger's been closer than ever. He's only separated by 2/10 now. Just needs to find an area where the Porsche is stronger than the BMW. Or wait for a mistake to occur. And yeah, that break, the undercut really effective. you can see how effective it is. Patrick Gannon is 7 seconds ahead of Paulo Langer, but in total, he has got a 3-second gap to Matt Shack behind him, and a 7-second gap to Noah. Goes defensive on the inside line. And at the moment, don't know if Paulo has the solution here to overtaking Noah, but they are separated by nothing at this time. I mean, 2/10. Their pace is seriously strong. 1/10 separates them lap by lap. We're going to pop over to Tyler Anderson and Eric Rodriguez. Also separated by not much, 3/10. This is AM class driver on AM class driver, or for the championship, Tyler Anderson's in the lead right now in P1, and I think Eric Rodriguez might be P2 or P3, but he's definitely up there. So he might be one of the few people contending Tyler Anderson for those points. Might be very crucial for Eric Rodriguez to stay off that advance from Tyler Anderson. And there the move goes down the inside line into the bus stop, and he bends it a little too much speed and loses out. Tyler Anderson keeps that spot. And Charles Whedon goes to P18. Oh, something happened to Kyle Granger and Chris. Oh no. Let's take a look. And there it is, folks. All that hard work just gone through a mistake. Only dropping one position. Maybe he's going to be able to save this car till the end. You hope he can. Paulo Langer and Noah Hoskinson are still battling it out. Just separated by nothing sometimes. 2/10, 1/10, 3/10. It's such a varying degree at different parts of the track. You know, strengths Paulo has in certain corners versus Noah. And they reeling him in, but then being reeled out. And the difference between the BMW and the Porsche here, it's not extreme. Patrick Gannon is leading the race in a BMW M4, and Matt Check in the Porsche right behind him. So we've definitely seen fast times from both classes of the car in the top spot for qualifying, so it's definitely possible to make some room here. That was definitely lost like a significant amount of time here, so it's now down to 6/10 off of Noah Hoskinson. Right after the bus stop. Back at Tyler Anderson and Eric Rodriguez, still separated by 3/10. Tyler went for the move at bus stop, but has not made that same move for 2 laps now. With only 3 laps left to go, wonder what he's going to try to do here. while they're getting real close. Is this the move? No, it is not. It looked like if he had been given some space there, might have been able to take that, but he wasn't alongside, so not necessarily he would have to give it, but look at him going into this corner. They're going to go side by side. And Tyler Anderson, can he stick the overtake here? Because we know Eric Rodriguez is right. Oh, he slots in. It is done. And there goes P7 to Tyler Anderson. Eric Rodriguez flashes his lights. Driver intention on flashing lights, it can never truly give you a positive or negative on whether or not it is positive or negative. I'll just leave it at that, I guess, you know. So we have Trey Mistak and Timothy Bray only separated by 0.3. Is Trey Mistak going to try to make up another position and get further ahead in the team championship with Team Shake Stack? And, you know, this is one of the few duels still happening out there on the track. Paolo Langer is still easing closer to Noah Hoskinson, but not by much. Still 0.6 down. And Trey Mistak just behind Timothy Bray by half a second. Oh, there goes Steve McAllister just behind Patrick Gannon. Yes, lap traffic there. And Patrick Gannon rounding the final corner, wondering if this is a white flag. Don't see the flag guy. There's Paolo Langer now separate 0.2 there. Ooh, it's not the most ideal exit there, but wow, going into Eau Rouge separated by 0.1. That's a lot of speed he's going to be able to carry going into Radion. Is it enough? Noah's going to stay defensive. But is the straight line speed of the BMW enough to get by? We're still looking side by side. And they go side by side. Oh, and Noah's just able to keep that tight line and able to make it happen. No! Oh, he goes defensive! And Paolo has to go to the outside. And he keeps it together. They've given each other space. They gave each other good amount and are racing fair. But Paolo's not able to make the move. Even when he was separated just so close, these two drivers. And Chris Chitterling goes ahead of Just F. Scott for P13. And that is the white flag. Finally being waved there. One more lap for Noah to hold off Paulo Langer. And they are separated again by nothing. 0.2, 0.3. Is it going to be as interesting as he goes up to Eau Rouge, separated by 0.1, 1/10 to 0? Just definitely not. They're as close as they were last time. And Noah had a really great defense into Radion, but is he going to be able to hold it this time around? Paulo Langer rocket ships by, but is it enough? They're going to go side by side into the braking zone. No, they are not, as Noah is able to keep it ahead of Paulo. Now, again, goes super defensive and keeps it together. Paulo's just not able to make it past along the outside line there. He's making his intentions known pretty fairly that he's gonna defend. He's gonna stick his car in a certain spot. He's not weaving. This is great defense by Noah Hoskinson right now. Paulo's just trying to find a way by. And I believe Patrick Gannon, even though he's going to win this race, don't think that's enough points to overtake Matt Shack, as Matt Shack's going to gain 200 points for being in P2 as this finish. Could have been less, but he had a very good call with that strategy to undercut Noah Hoskinson. And Patrick Gannon is going to be the driver to take home victory here at Spa Francorchamps in the Outer Forest of Belgium. And through the final corners they go. Matt Shack up there ahead, takes P2, and Noah Hoskinson with a great defense passes or keeps P3. Paulo Langer P4. Timothy Bray going up, and he's gonna stick with P5. Tyler Anderson going to bus up, goes to P6. Eric Rodriguez to P7. So these two battled. There's the flashes again. Will Coffey goes to P8. Trey Mistack is in P9. Matthew Wyckoff in P10. Across the line, and then Eddie Layton, P11. Richard Saavedra in P12 with Chris Chitterling just behind. And a great result for Chris Chitterling, despite having that moment. They're able to repair that vehicle and get him across. Justin F. Scott goes to P14. There's Colin Luckers goes to P15. Kyle Granger into P... Whoa, Kyle Granger doesn't have a rear wing. That is really something to keep it together and continue. Was knocked off just a couple corners ago, and he sticks it with P16. What an impressive result for not having that wing for the last couple of laps. And there's Miller Durajo, teammates Paulo Langer, I believe, in P17. Craig Carroll in P18. Steve McAllister in P19. Josh Whedon in 20. Chris Lambeth in 21. Joshua Grosso in 22. Oh, what happened to Joshua Grosso? That's unfortunate. Andrew Kirk in P23 and Gary Schilling in P24. there you have it, folks. That is the race over. Thank you for joining us. Please do join the Discord and stay tuned for us next season, as there's going to be some multi-class racing happening on Sundays. And actually, I'm not sure about the GT3 being multi-class, but there's multi-class on Tuesdays happening, as they're trialing out that. And just join us back in 2 weeks after Spa 24 hours, and we're going to be starting a new season, season 4. Thank you again, and have a good evening.